All right, let's try this again. All right, let's make sure we can move this so you guys can see. Can everyone see the drop a one in the chat if you can see the slides? We're all good. I see the chat popping off. Okay, good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so I think Kat told you guys I'm going to share with you just authentic brand building today. I am the girl that built my brand literally throwing spaghetti at the wall, and honestly, that's like kind of still my strategy. I fly by the seat of my pants. My strategy is I have no strategy. I just continue to show up, but like truly, my strategy is to show up and just be myself. So I'm going to teach you how to build know, like, and trust and authentically build your brand by being yourself, not by being someone else, not by being some sort of fake persona, but by being who you are. And I even polled my Facebook audience last night because I said I'm prepping for this training. Like, what do you like? What do you think I'm known for? And most of the people commented like keeping it real. Like that's what people know me for. Is like my no BS, like shoot straight, like straight shooter approach to life, to business, to everything, because I feel like life is short and I don't have time, otherwise, like we just got to get right to it. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this training. And I will say some of this stuff is probably things that you've heard before, but sometimes hearing it from a little bit of a different perspective and also hearing it again and again can be helpful. So your brand, like truly, it starts with you and it starts with your story. And we can't compare ourselves to other people because everyone is at a different place. You're not behind, okay? Everyone starts somewhere. I did. This is like two like very like embarrassing photos of me. And I say embarrassing because I didn't have any self-confidence. Like you can see it just on my face. The first photo, I was like probably 48 hours away from giving birth. This was the time when I had started my very first business and party plan in 2007, and I did it out of survival. Okay, like really truly when I think about what my story is one of survival. I didn't fit into the traditional get a job kind of box, like even college for me, even though I was smart and I was an honor roll student, like college just it wasn't the path for me because I just am not like a normal person. I was like, I cannot go sit in a cube. I can't do something that's boring. Like I will, for lack of better words, like want to end my life. Okay. Like I just can't do it. All right. I need something that's exciting. And so that was really what started this whole journey for me. Was I was in a position, I was working retail, I was pregnant with my second child, I had a 3-year old, and I was like, okay, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I can do the math and I can look at my paycheck and I know that if I continue working this job and paying for daycare, I'm essentially going to be taking my check and handing it over for childcare. So I needed to figure out a way that I could make money from home. And this was before a lot of people were making money from home. I feel like that's like very common now. People leverage social media. I started before social media was, I mean, it was a thing, but it wasn't really a thing. Like I did party plan, we had catalogs and order forms. Like we didn't even have a website that people could order on. Like I had to order products, wait for them to arrive, and then ship them out to people. But that's how desperate I was to be able to not have to be beholden to a boss, an employer, clocking in and out, basically feeling like a prisoner. What a lot of people don't know about my story is that my husband and I were separated at the time. Very early on in our marriage, we had a lot of challenges because we were young when we got together and neither one of us had grown up and neither one of us had really had faith in God at that time and truly was like giving our lives to God that turned our marriage around and saved our marriage. So here I was pregnant with a 3-year old thinking I'm going to be a single mom. I have to figure this out. And we struggled. We worked from paycheck to paycheck. I would go do a party on a Friday night, write a check for pizza back when you could write a check, and for pizza for $20. I think my husband ordered pizza the other night and it was like over 40. So this was a long time ago, but there would be no money in the bank account. And I would then rush to the bank. I would go to a party Friday night. I would rush to the bank Saturday morning, right when it opened at 9 a.m. I would make the deposit and be like, whew, okay, like the check didn't bounce. Like that was how desperate I was when I first started my first business. So you know, you can't compare yourself to me or where I'm at, or maybe some other leaders who have been in the industry for a long time or who have been brand building for a long time. So that was where it started for me. I didn't know I was building a brand or anything like that. I just was literally in survival mode. Now, when I'm working with my team, I always know why they're stuck. And 9 times out of 10, it's because no one knows who they are. They're doing all of the things, right? They're posting and they're doing all the stuff that we tell them to do, but it's because they haven't built trust with anyone yet, especially if they're brand new. They've never really used their social media to sell anything. Let me know if that's you in the comments. Like if you're like newer to this, you never use your social media to sell anything. That's most people. Now, if someone has a brand and they already have an established presence, you're typically going to see those people have a little bit more success faster if they do the work, okay? Because trust me, I've brought in people with hundreds of thousands of followers who didn't make $3 because they didn't want to do the work, okay? But it really boils down to not having a personal brand, and that's why building your brand and making sure that people know you is so important, because if they don't know you, then they cannot buy from you. And I will tell you, a lot of people aren't going to tell you the things that I'm going to tell you, but some of this takes time and you're going to have to be patient. Like truly, like if you had told me 18 years ago when I first started my business, like you're going to have a lot of success, but it's like going to be after the first 10 years, you're going to make your first million. Like, first of all, I would have never believed I could have made $1 million. But for a lot of people, they'll say, like, well, I don't want to wait 10 years. But you know what? The time is going to pass anyhow. And then you build the skills, and then the things compound on top of each other. And then you get success faster and faster and faster. Okay. So just know you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Just keep plugging into the trainings, keep plugging into the community. You guys have amazing leadership here, and they do the most for you. So just, I'm telling you, do the things that they tell you to do and you're going to be successful. So what is your brand? Your brand is you, okay? It's essentially who you are. I'm just going to close this right here so we can see the whole screen. It's not logos or aesthetics. It's your story. It's your voice. It's your values. It's your energy. It's how you show up, because your logos and aesthetics can change over time. I am one of those people that I always like change. Okay. So I don't usually stick with one like theme in my content for very long. I've never been a fan of niching for that reason. Like I like to share all of the things, and maybe some of you can relate with that. But what I've found is that because I've just shown up and I've been authentically myself and I've taken people on the journey of my life, those people that truly like me for who I am stay with me regardless of what chapter of my life I'm in or what, like thing I'm on right now, because they enjoy following me and my journey. Whereas I know people who have built very niche audiences talking about, like, I don't know, let's say hair care. And then the second they start talking about something else, other people are like, wait, why are you talking about this? Because I followed you for hair care. I followed you for hair tips. And so that's for me personally. I don't think anyone should start out trying to niche, especially when you're just starting out, because it kind of boxes you in. There's always a time and a place to niche whenever you get there and you become known for something, but it's not when you're first starting out. Okay. So you are your personal brand. And building trust with people is so vital, because it's what's going to turn followers into fans. And that's how people are going to buy for you. But hold on, did I put these out of you are your personal brand? I'm like, sometimes I don't even know what I'm even trying to say, you guys. But listen, it means that there's hope for you yet. My brain is always very scattered. Okay. So just being yourself is what's going to make you unforgettable, even in a noisy online space. All right, so let's break down what your brand is. Number one is your voice, which is how you talk. It's your vibe, which is how people feel when they hear from you. It's your values, which is like, what do you stand for? That's something that a lot of people struggle with because they're afraid of sharing opinions. It's your story, why you do what you do, and your promise. Like, what can people count on you for? So I use myself as an example, and then I'm going to give you a little chat GPT prompt that you can use to get this information about yourself pretty quickly in about less than a minute. Okay. So your voice is how you talk. And so I asked ChatGPT for this. I sent this prompt into ChatGPT, and this is what it said about me. I'm direct, no fluff, girlfriend to girlfriend advice with a coach's edge, quick wit, zero sugarcoating, always encouraging, conversational, story led, and here's what works, do this next. Like that's my voice, that's how I speak. So sometimes it takes a little bit of self-reflection, but you can use the prompt that I'm going to give you to kind of get a rough idea of where you're at with your brand. And remember, your brand is always going to evolve with you. If you're growing, your brand will evolve. Your vibe is how people feel when they hear from you. And it said that my vibe was empowering without being preachy, high energy, but with depth, and unfiltered, but always intentional and with fire and heart. And also, I just have to say, my husband is very handsome. So that's one thing too. If you follow me, you know I'm obsessed with my husband. Um, your values, what do you stand for? ChatGPT said that I stand for truth over trends, financial freedom as a form of power, ownership, and that is something that I have always stood by is taking ownership for yourself, like take personal responsibility for where you're at. It may not be your fault that you're in the situation that you're in, but it is up to you to figure something out. And I wasn't like raised in money. I was never handed anything on a silver platter. I've always been a kind of get it done, figure it out kind of girl. And so that's why I just don't take a lot of excuses. And people that follow me or that work with me know that. I don't wait for opportunities. I build them and I teach others to do the same. And I'm also very transparent, maybe sometimes too transparent. I don't hide the work behind the wins. I'm very transparent about the fact that the business that I do does take work, but I feel like I would rather be open and honest about that versus trying to tell people that this is going to be very easy. Is it simple? Yes, it's simple, but it's not always easy. And if you've been in business for any amount of time, you know that. So those are my values. And my story is that I've built a multi-million-dollar brand by being myself online, leading communities, and teaching what I live. And the reason I do what I do was for literal survival because I didn't fit the mold of a job that I needed to provide. I didn't fit the mold of a job needed to provide. I don't know. I don't know what I was saying there, but basically, there is no way I'm ever going to hold a job, you guys, or I would be fired. Okay, so drop some flames in the comments if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Whenever I'm doing these presentations and I don't see faces and it's quiet, I feel like I'm like, is there anyone there? Like, I don't even know if anyone's there. Can I see the chat? Okay. All right. Like I said, I know a lot of this stuff is probably some things you've heard before, but I'm gonna give it the little Brooke twist. Okay. So it'll be fun. I like doing this presentation. And my promise, what people can count on me for is to show up real, not just with the highlights. You'll never get the fluff or fakery from me, only the truth, the tools, and the transformation. All right, so this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the ChatGPT prompt. So go ahead, take a screenshot, take a photo, whatever. You're just gonna copy this information right into ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. I don't know how I ever did life without ChatGPT. So it says taking this information, your brand is your voice, how you talk, your vibe, your values, your story. Based on what you know about me, can you answer these questions for me? Now, if you haven't really actively been using ChatGPT a lot, you can always copy a screenshot of your Instagram or use the link. And the more information you can provide ChatGPT, the better. But I have a relationship with mine. It knows me very intimately. Like I don't even have a therapist because why do I need a therapist? I have ChatGPT. Like I have my own GPT that says Brooke's therapist. Okay. It is literally the most amazing app I think I've probably ever owned. If I could just get it to do housework for me, that would be amazing. So take this information, and this is going to help you with developing and like really understanding like who you are, how you show up, and how people perceive you. Because sometimes we don't realize that people perceive us in a certain way. Sometimes we don't always see ourselves the way that other people see us. So who are you? What is your personality? Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you quirky? Are you funny? Are you deep? Are you soft? Are you like a girly girl? What are your passions? Are you into fitness like Adriana? Are you into health, mental wellness, politics, business, beauty, real estate, traveling, food, fashion, 90s nostalgia? What are your opinions? Like, don't be afraid to take a stand. Truly. so many people shy away from this because they don't want to ruffle feathers and they want to be liked by everyone. But if you're trying to reach everyone, you're going to reach no one. Like truly. Even, like some of the leaders on our team that are very open about their walk with God and Christianity, not everyone is about that. Not everyone likes that, but they chose to be open about that because it's their beliefs, it's their values, it's their opinion that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior, and they feel firm in that, and they're going to show up and they're going to stand on that, even if other people don't like it. So I'm just using that as an example, but it could be anything. You just have to kind of choose what lane you want to be in. There's some things that I don't talk about. I don't talk about every opinion I have. Trust me, I have lots of opinions. Brooke has many opinions. I don't talk about all of those opinions, but you just kind of have to figure out like what is the area that what is, kind of like your area that you want to work within, and what is it that you are truly passionate about, that this is who you are through and through, and that people are going to find this out about you regardless, so you may as well not hide it. Okay. Life experiences, what you've lived through. These are the things this is really who you are. This is really what your brand is. It's your personality. It's the things that you're excited about, your passions, your opinions, and your life experiences, because you're going to share your knowledge through your life experience. And I have built so many amazing connections with people just by sharing my life experiences, just by sharing the things that I've learned by going through some of the hardest things that I've ever been through in my entire life. I actually first really started building my online social media presence after my son's autism diagnosis when he was 2 years old, and we didn't have resources. And I just had to figure it all out myself, like Googling all the information that I could, because we were broke at the time. We did not have money to, see specialists and all of the things, but we had to eat. And so everything that I started reading led back to nutrition, and that's how I got really into nutrition. And I started just posting photos of our food on paper plates, and people started sending other people to follow us because we were on this healing journey. And so that was really how I first started building my brand outside of my immediate, like, local network, without even realizing that I was doing it, because I was just showing up and sharing through an experience. It was really challenging for me, but it was my life and I was living through it anyhow. And so I just started snapping photos. So before you could even put videos on Facebook at the time. Like, you couldn't even put a video on Facebook. You had to put a video on YouTube and then share a link. So I've been doing it for a long time. So it's really a lot more simple than people make it out to be. So based on what I've told you so far, I want you to do an assessment and rate your current brand presence. Like, how good do you feel about where your brand is at? One being like not good at all. Like, I don't really feel like I have a brand. I haven't really been showing up. People don't know who I am. To 10, like, hell yeah, I know who I am. I'm really consistent. I'm really happy about my brand. And this is just for you, but you can drop it in the comments because I want to see where we're at. And remember that you're gonna grow and you're gonna change. Okay, so we have some some sevens, 7, 7, 7, 1, 4, 5, 5. Okay, so we've got some, like in betweens, right? In betweens. Everyone, it's always room for growth. I don't even feel like a 10 about mine. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm always wanting it to be better. I'm always like, how can I improve? How can I reach more people? How can I get more clear on my messaging? And I'll tell you guys a little secret about me. I'm 45. Um, I really built my business and my network on Facebook. Instagram is still something that I'm just playing with, but it's not my bread and butter. I like it because it's fun. It feeds my creative side. I've definitely connected with people and gotten customers and enrollments through Instagram, but the majority of my business still comes from Facebook. So really, the things that I teach you will work no matter which platform you're building on, because at the end of the day, social media is about connection. It's all about connecting with people. Now, how many of you, show of hands, drop Friends in the comments if you watched Friends? I'm still learning TikTok too. Actually kind of like TikTok because it's not as polished as Instagram. Okay, do we have any Friends fans here? Okay, we've got a few Friends fans. Okay, is there anyone that has never watched the show? Because you guys, this is the best sitcom ever of all time. And I love Friends. And so I love to paint this story and do this illustration with this TV show. And I think it's fun because it's a show that universally most people in our generation, like millennials, know Friends, right? And it was before social media was a thing, you know, like sometimes I watch it and I'm so nostalgic for that time, like when we didn't have social media. But I love to use it to paint the picture. Why you need know, like, and trust. Because people have to know you before they like you, and they have to like you before they're going to buy from you. Because I could get on here, or Kat could get on here, and Adriana could get on here and teach you all about sales. But if people don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. Like, that's just the truth. That's just what it is. Okay. So think about how much you loved your favorite friends' characters and how much you felt like you knew them. Go ahead and drop for me in the comments who your favorite friend's character was, which I know is really hard for a lot of us to choose a favorite. Okay, we've got Joey, we've got Rachel and Joey, Joey, lots of Joey. Joey was very likable. Rachel, Joey, Monica, Monica, Rachel and Joey. Rachel, okay. Monica, because I'm a clean freak. Yes, Monica, I you know what was so great about Friends, if you know anything about like storytelling and just that in general. It's it was an amazing ensemble cast. And the reason it was so amazing is because we could see pieces of ourselves in each character. And so there was a relatability, like we connected with these characters on an emotional level. And this is what I'm trying, this is the point that I really want to get to you is that when you show up, like how these characters showed up on your TV screen once a week, you know, before we could like watch everything on stream it, you had an emotional connection with these people. You had an emotional connection with what was going to happen with Ross and Rachel, right? Like, were they on a break or were they not on a break? Okay. So you have to be the sitcom, not the commercial. And that's probably the biggest mistake that I see new people make coming in. They'll sign up, they get their account, and they immediately turn into an info commercial where all they're doing is posting sales graphics and talking about the products, which we want you to talk about products. But people first have to care about who you are before they're going to give a crap about what you're trying to sell them. Okay. So your social media is a modern day sitcom or reality show, you know, however you want to think about it. And your content is your episode. So whether you're putting out a reel, a carousel, stories, whatever it is, like those are your episodes. And people don't tune in for commercials. Remember, what did you do when the commercials would come on? You would get up, you would go to the bathroom, you would go get water, you would get a snack, you might take a quick phone call, okay? Because remember, the phone was still connected to the wall. But you definitely weren't sitting around watching the commercials. It wasn't the Super Bowl, okay? So you have to make people care. You can't just be a nonstop commercial. And you want to show up with main character energy. I think the majority of you said that Rachel was your favorite, and like everyone, okay, except for the character that Brad Pitt played, and I don't know why I can't remember what his name was on the show. He was a like a guest star. He hated Rachel Green, but everyone else loved Rachel. But the reason he hated Rachel was because he couldn't have Rachel because she didn't, you know, she wasn't interested in him. He was a nerd in high school. So she is for sure main character energy. She's just beautiful. She's fashionable. Like she's the girl that every girl wants to be. Like how many of you, did anyone here have the Rachel haircut? I was in the ninth grade and it was a really horrible look for me. But I could tell you for years and years and years and years, I would take photos of Jennifer Aniston to my stylist. No matter what her haircut was, I always wanted her haircut. Okay. And think about it. Rachel didn't show up and try to sell you anything on the show. She didn't have to sell you anything. You wanted her outfits. You wanted her makeup. You wanted her hairstyle. Like you wanted to be her. And it's the same thing with the girls that you follow, that you look up to on social media. So like you want to be the Rachel Green. You want to be, or maybe you're a Phoebe. That's okay. I'm not saying like you have to be this stereotype. I'm just saying you want to show up with that main character energy because you sell yourself first and foremost. What you don't want to be is you don't want to be a Gunther, okay? Gunther was the background guy. He just kind of blended in. The people that are like the Gunthers, they're just playing it safe. They're not showing up. They're only posting like periodically, and they're just blending in with the feed. It's just like next, 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 next. So like mostly no one ever, like Rachel never even noticed Gunther. Like he was just like blended into the background. So you don't want to be the background guy, and you definitely don't want to be the Janice. Okay. Janice is the annoying, obnoxious salesperson. She is the commercial for sure. She can't read the room. She has no self-awareness, and she annoys everyone in her path. Okay. So we want to be the Rachel Green. We want to be the main character. We want to show up with that main character energy with the confidence that Rachel had. Now, remember that when people are watching your social media, just like people are watching TV, it's for one of three reasons. They either want to learn something, they want to be inspired, or they want to be entertained. And I think some of the best content creators are the ones that are able to do all three simultaneously. Okay, so learning, inspiration, and entertainment. Like that's the three reasons that people are going to tune in to your content. Like think about it, late night when you're scrolling, like you're just wanting to be entertained, right? Like you just want to be entertained. So ask yourself, what is your series about? Like think about a sitcom. Like, are you educational? Are you doing recipes? Are you doing makeup tutorials? Are you doing business tips? Are you inspiring people with glow ups, with parenting? Maybe you're in recovery, whatever your walk may be. Are you taking people on a documentary? I feel like I'm an inspirational documentary personally. I always say that I'm relatable but aspirational. Like you want to be relatable, but you don't want to have yourself be at such a level where people feel like I can't do what she's doing, right? So documenting your life, maybe it's your health, maybe you have a health story that you're sharing, maybe you're getting healthy, maybe you're on a weight loss journey, maybe it's marriage, maybe it's moving across the country, etc. It can literally be anything, but ask yourself, like, what is my series about? Like, what is my show about? Like, why are people tuning in, essentially? And consistency is so important, you guys. Consistency builds trust. It doesn't mean that you have to show up every hour, but rhythm does matter. Don't pop in and out. How many of you have seen someone pop up in your news feed and you're like, oh, wow, I forgot about that person? And you're like, where the heck have they been? Like, gosh, like sometimes I'll send someone a DM and be like, gosh, I haven't seen you in my news feed in forever. And you just showed up today. Sometimes it's the algorithm, but most of the time it's the fact that they just go MIA and then they pop back in and then they expect to like build a business or to have trust with people. And people are not going to trust you if you don't have a consistency in showing up. I might take a couple of days off here and there, but people know me for being consistent. I have a rhythm. I don't have a schedule, but I have a rhythm. You want to be a familiar face because the more familiar you feel to people, the more they connect with you. Okay. So think about how you felt. Like imagine if you went and sat down in front of your TV on Thursday night at 8 EST and Friends wasn't on. You would have been like, what the heck? Like, where's it at? It's supposed to be on at 8 p.m. So the fact that they were in your TV at the same time every single week, it built connection. Okay, it built connection. Meanwhile, your recurring characters or extras don't carry as much weight because they didn't have the same connection. So we have like here we have Phoebe's brother and his wife. You guys remember Phoebe had their children. That was such a weird storyline, but I think Lisa Kudrow was pregnant in real life, so they had to work it in. And you're gonna have your own recurring characters, and we'll talk about that in a moment too. But I thought this would be like kind of a fun exercise, and this is just a way for you to start thinking about your social media, a little bit differently than maybe you normally do. Maybe don't take it so seriously, you guys. Like I always just say, I don't take myself that seriously. Like I try to have fun. I try to just not be so stressed about all of the things. So I thought, let's look at what Friends characters would have looked like as influencers. Like what would their social media look like? And again, I use my friend, my favorite bestie, ChatGPT, to tell me. So Rachel Green, she would have been the fashion and lifestyle girly with aesthetic flat lays and her coffee runs at Central Perk. She probably would have had reels on how to break into fashion with no experience, nostalgic throwbacks like when she ran out on her wedding. And her IG highlight covers would have been things like fashion, breakups, New York City life, and shopping tips. She would have had affiliate links galore, and she definitely would have been the shop my look girly. And I thought this was fun because we didn't have social media when they were around. All right, Monica. Recipe tutorials. She was the neurotic, organized foodie. recipe tutorials with militant perfection, cleaning hacks, fridge organization, labels on everything, stories about being the hostess with the mostest, meal prep Monday and the perfect pantry content, married life and behind the scenes with Chandler, and probably she would have shared her struggles with infertility with raw, real posts that built trust and connection with other people. Next up, we have Phoebe Buffay, the quirky wellness and manifestation creator. She would have had original songs like Smelly Cat, hits on Spotify, her crystals, chakras, and aura reading tutorials, unfiltered rants and stories. She's not for everyone. Earthy, artsy photo dumps, thrift hauls, moon rituals, lives about past lives, and weird dating stories. You are your own goddess vibes and big identity energy, because that was Phoebe. Next, we have the guys. Let's start with Ross. Listen, I love Ross because I feel like Ross was always just so misunderstood. He's the niche nerd turned thought leader. He would have posts like 10 dino facts you didn't know, weekly lives called the Evolution Hour, story polls, who was the better parent, Neanderthals or Egyptians. I said he was a nerd. Candid dad moments, awkward dating fails, educational content that secretly screams, "Notice me, Rachel." Highlights paleontology, dad life, divorce diaries, and British accents. Next, we have Joey Tribbiani, the lovable chaos creator, the lifestyle bro who would have gym selfies, terrible cooking fails, dating tips from a guy who tried everything, reels, weekly food reviews. Joey doesn't share food Wednesdays. I still speak in friends quotes, so sue me. I'm also like Joey, I don't like to share food. Acting updates and behind the scenes of his auditions, merch drops with how you doing hoodies, and relatable reels that go viral accidentally. And then finally, we have Chandler being the meme king and witty, reluctant influencer. He would have self-deprecating humor, memes, and gifs, reels roasting his own marriage and awkward work life, corporate life decoded mini sketch series, weekly series, Can I Be Any More Confused? Subtle support of Monica's content and comments, and underrated relatability. Everyone follows him for a laugh. So who are you? That is your brand, you guys. It's that simple. That's really that's the moral of all of this is just who are you as a person. So let me go back. So I just use a little example here. I'm the no BS, tell it like it is businesswoman. And this is my husband, for those of you that don't know Jason, the high energy, motivational real estate guy. And I use this image because this was from his real estate brand shoot. We were doing a shoot he's been sending mailers to our neighborhood that we live in. And so we wanted to really infuse his personality. So you want to infuse your personality into your images, into your content. Like, don't shy away from your personality. I always say play your personality up more. Like, obviously, he's not going to be playing tennis in a suit, but we were like, let's not make him look like every other average realtor that's like stuffy in a suit. Like, let's have fun with it. So have fun, use your personality, and lean into it, because that's what's going to make you unforgettable. And then we have our brand together. Like, people love our like inspirational power couple vibes. Like, that's one of the most talked about things, I think, with our brand that people always mention to us. So we like to play that up. We like to play up like our banter and our little spats on camera, if you've ever caught some of those. And then you want to ask yourself, who is your supporting cast? Is it your children? And I know that's a touchy topic for some people. They don't want to have their kids in their content, and that's okay. My kids were in my content a lot more when they were younger. Now that they're adults, I don't really care so much about being in mom and dad's, Instagram. But that's totally a personal preference. So is it your children? Is it your pets? Like Cat's new kitty cat. I am obsessed. Maybe it's your spouse or your boyfriend or your partner. Maybe it's your grandma. Maybe it's your friends. Make sure that you bring those supporting people into your show. Like, you see some of the supporting characters here. They didn't show up on every episode, but when they did show up, they were a familiar face. We were like, oh, it's Carol again. Oh, it's the Estelle again. Oh, it's Ross and Rachel's mom and dad again. So think about like who are the supporting cast members, who are the people that you rotate in and out. Maybe it's like your favorite barista and you go get your coffee every day and you have chit chat. Maybe they show up on your stories. Just think of like clever ways that you can incorporate other things, other people in, and have the storytelling aspect with it as well. So how do you develop your own character? Well, you are your own character already, right? You are who you are. But for some people, it's a little bit difficult because they're not used to being on camera. And like I told you in the beginning, I'm very socially awkward. I am much better on camera, but I had to train myself to be good on camera, much like an actor would, okay? Or like a news anchor. I have my friend that's a news anchor and she's one person, and then when she goes into her news anchor persona, like her voice shifts, like everything shifts, and I'm like, oh, it's like Alex the news anchor, okay? So think of yourself as a character that you're playing. I'm playing a version of myself, right? So play up your personality. If, like I said, if Jason and I are having a little like spat, it's not ever anything serious. I don't cut it out of the video because people connect with it because it's relatable. They're like, oh my gosh, they're so real. It makes them feel better about themselves because they're also having spats with their spouse behind the scenes. Share your opinions, share the things that you're passionate about, talk about your values, share your obstacles, share the struggles that you're going through. Any life experience can be content for you, and you never know how you're going to inspire someone else and how you're going to connect with them. And that, at the end of the day, that's what I've led with when I've built my brand. It's never for me about the dollars first. It's about the connection and how can I use what I'm going through or what I know or what my challenges are to help other people. And the amount of messages that I'll get from people saying, thank you so much for sharing XYZ. I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh, I made a doctor's appointment because I saw your video and like there's got to be something crazy going on with me. So just think about how you're going to help people by getting over yourself and showing up. So just a quick breakdown, your episodes are going to be your post and your stories. That's going to be like your little mini, episodes. And then a season of your life is like it's a bigger season. Like it could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years. How many of you look back on your memories from like a couple of years ago and you're like, whoa, I was in a different era. Like I was in a totally different season of my life then. Like right now, I'm in my rebuilding season. Like last year, I left my last business and I started over in pharmacy, and I'm positioning myself as a leader here that is leading this next wave of network marketing leaders. Like this company is blowing up. Like that's what I believe. Okay. So that's how I'm currently like positioning myself. So ask yourself, like, what is it that I'm going through in this season?
So I've got myself stuck in a little precarious.
I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I had to just like briefly go through these slides because I made this months ago. So I'm going through it as I go through it. So on the next slide, I just want to show an example of an episode. So this was like we were moving across country and Jason had thousands and thousands of views on his stories because he was taking people along on the journey. And it was something so stupid and so simple, but people loved it.
So I've got myself stuck in a little precarious situation here. I pulled in the Cacoba Grill and there is nowhere for me to turn around. Amazing, right? You can't go around that corner because it's too sharp. So I have to back out, but to back out not once, then I got to go twice down here and then I got to go around the side of this other building. So wish me luck. I know I was raised in Alabama, born in the backwood water of Alabama, but we're going to find out if I still got these mad skills.
So we had moved everything across country last year, and it's funny because I had assigned him with taking these snake plants, which they got to Florida and died. So I don't know, rest in peace. But he had this whole thing going with strapping in the plants in the front seat because it was in the middle of winter and it was cold where he was driving. And everyone was checking in on the plants. Everyone was checking in to see how he did because he got stuck on this like back snowy road in the middle of I don't know, somewhere in Oklahoma or something. I mean, he took people along on this episode, is what I would have called it. Would have been like an episode. If it was a TV show, it would have been an episode. It was just like part of the season, right? And so people were really tuned in for what was happening. My mom is texting him like, "We're praying for you over here." You know, like people were like really paying attention to his stories as he did this cross country trip. I personally, I got on an airplane and I flew home because I was like, "There's no way I'm doing a 4 day cross country trip in a U-Haul. That's not happening. I'm a little too bougie for that." So that was an example of an episode. And then what's next? Okay, and then a season. Okay, so this is an example of a season. If you follow me, I think most of you are pretty new here. Kat's been around for a while, but I was really sick 5 years ago. I was very, very ill. I had Lyme disease, and I ended up in Mexico at a health facility there because I couldn't get answers. I couldn't get help here, and I was really, really, really ill, like to the point like I thought I was gonna die. Like it was rough. And so that was a season of my life that lasted for a couple of years where I was taking people on this journey of the different types of treatments that I was trying. And I did everything. I did everything. Like they put me under, they heated my body temperature up to 108 degrees. Like they induced an artificial fever. They gave me IV antibiotics. I did blood ozone therapy. This machine right here that I'm hooked up to, you don't even recognize me because I'm so swollen with fluids. They literally drained all the blood out of my body, not all at once, but cleaned the blood and put it back in me. Like, and this was over a couple of years period where I was doing all of these different things, and I would have the ups and the downs where I'd be like, okay, I feel better. Okay, I feel like crap. Okay, now I got to do this. And so I brought in a lot of followers through that journey as well, because during that season, I didn't just get sick and say, "Oh, woe is me." I said, "I am not going to take this laying down. Like, I'm going to die fighting. If I'm going to die, like I'm going to fight back. That's me. That's who I am. I'm not going to let life take me down." And I had faith that God was going to get me through it. So I shared that, and I gained a lot of followers through that experience as well. So you can take the worst things that are happening in your life and you can make content out of it, and you can build community with it, and you can build connection with others. So, what's happening in this season of your life? What are you going through right now that you can begin sharing with other people to build that connection? And this is just a really quick bullet point, for journeys. Like I always say, when you're building your brand, just start taking people on a journey, okay? Like you don't need to be an expert. Maybe it's a weight loss journey, a hair growth journey, a business growth journey, a fitness journey, a spiritual journey, a health journey, a homeschool journey. Maybe you're doing special needs parenting. Maybe you're learning to plant a garden, or you're like my mom, caring for her elderly mother. Maybe you're in addiction recovery, or maybe you're in your 40s and you're single and you're dating again for the first time and you're having a nightmare experience with dating apps. These are all things that you can take people on the journey of your life and begin sharing and helping other people and building your brand and making money at the same time. So I think that's just about all I have for you guys. Remember that your brand will evolve as you do. When you look back, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, sometimes it's so cringe." A lot of people don't even know I used to be a health coach. That was probably my very first brand shoot that I ever had. It was before I even had glasses. So your brand is going to evolve as you do. And as long as you're constantly learning and growing as a person, you're truly never going to run out of content. So I think that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully that was helpful.
Oh, you can turn that one off. Thank you so much, Brooke. That was so much fun. Like I don't think I've ever been on such a fun training. It like what you were trying to portray, it totally nailed. Like the Friends analogy, that was my favorite show. And I was so invested in, were they on a break? Were they not on a break? Like, absolutely. The way that you broke it down was so relatable. And for those of you that are too young and don't know Friends, still highly recommend that you watch it, maybe just to like get Brooke's perspective. But put some fire in the chat for Brooke if she just really broke it down for you and made you look at your social media maybe a little bit differently than you have before. I really resonate with everything you said, Brooke, and I think you're really helpful, especially in, the multiple different seasons and journeys that I have in my life, from pageantry to horseback riding, competing. Like, it's all over the map, but at the end of the day, I still try to share it. And I just really appreciate how you present, how you train. you're no BS. We knew what we were gonna get, and Brooke, you're honestly one of my favorite people to watch on social media. No joke. If you guys aren't following her on TikTok, I'm always referencing her TikToks to Kat. Like I'm like, Kat, did you see this? Did you see that? Like but in the best way. So Brooke, you are definitely standing out. You have a place in my heart. Everything that you said is spot on, and I'm so grateful for you. So thank you so much for taking the time to train us today. You guys, you got to follow Brooke so you know exactly what she's talking about, because what she said is all truth. It's who she is. It's what she's about. So thank you so much, Brooke. I really, really, really appreciate you.
So
Thank
good,
you. It was
Brooke.
my
Thank
pleasure, you guys.
you. And thank you, Adriana, for holding down the fort. I'm so sorry. On my way to this
Got
call,
you, babe.
my car stopped in the middle of the road. I had to call roadside assistance. And I
No.
had a big, huge crash out. My friend Jessica here, my supporting character, she had to like come to the rescue. She's giving me a ride to work because I'm scared to drive my car. The roadside guy said it's fine, but I'm just gonna take it to Cadillac first before I do drive it anywhere. So maybe I should have documented that, but it would have been embarrassing because I was crying and ask Adriana. I crashed out hard. But thank you, Brooke. Can we all say that Brooke has only like gotten better with like age? Like you look younger now than in any of those photos that you shared. You look amazing. You are definitely Adriana's favorite season and episode. She talks about your content all of the time. So I'm gonna go and binge watch that tonight and take notes before I go to bed and duplicate everything that you're doing. But thank you, Brooke. You've been an inspiration for me since my last company, being in the $1 million club, earning millions in this industry. We're just grateful that you took the time to train us today. So thank you again for your professionalism, for your time, and for your value. We have to include you in our Her Society handshake before we leave. So we're going to take a little video so that we can officially initiate you as a member of Her Society. So on three, Her Society. So cute. Thank you so much, Brooke.
Yes.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks,
We love you
guys.
guys.
Love you.
Bye.